takes is a moment. Is it fate that you came this far unbroken? If it's destiny, you wrote it. Focus, but you gotta be focused. Make or break, it's the last goodbye they remember you for. They're calling your name, go and take what's yours. Here, now, it's everything you've been dreaming about. There's a reason why you were chosen. This is your moment. We gon' make you move. We gon' make you lose. We gon' make you move. So baby, let's up.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are very quickly coming to the end of the season here at Lebanon Valley, and right now we have the NECC Champions Yellow Semifinals for Rainbow Six Siege. This will be the only match featured this week, so if you're tuning in, you're seeing the only time we'll put up a stream for the week. As if you may or may not know, on Sunday we have Easter, so NACE has called the entire week off for matches, and for NECC, I think their cutoff is tomorrow. So if there are matches tomorrow, I think those are still played, but I believe Thursday, Friday matches are slated for next week. So here for Rainbow Six, of course it is a Tuesday night, so we still have this one going on, but again, it'll be the only match we show this week. Everything else will not be, there will be no other matches played, so there will of course be no streams for that. Now, we have LVC Rainbow Six taking on Western in the semifinals of the Champions Yellow Division, and this is a really interesting one. I don't have a lot of information on Western. I don't really know much about them outside of they went 4-1 in the regular season. Their only loss came off a forfeit, and they also were the second seed in the A side of the division, so they have the third overall seed just below Lebanon Valley, who was number 2, who was also 4-1, taking that loss to Ohio State much earlier in the year. But here, actually, I do want to mention it as let's toss it over to our bracket real quick just so I can explain this real quick. So here, looking at our bracket, you can see actually, as I just mentioned, Ohio State was the one team that was able to beat Lebanon Valley, and they just barely lost over to Western Ontario, who went to Game 3. You can see there. I forget what Map 3 was, but something I want to mention is the map set for tonight is Club Border Skyscraper, and in that series against against Ohio State, Western ended up playing Clubhouse for the very first time. At least that was in an actual match. They probably, I would imagine, have played it in scrims at some point, but that was the first match or time in NECC that they have played Clubhouse, and they won 7-3. They took that pretty handily. So that is something that you really need to look at if you are Western in this series. Now, Clubhouse is our map number 1, and that was the LVC map pick. Of course, they're very comfortable on it. They're sitting at 4-0 on the map in NECC alone. That's not even adding NACE into the equation there, which certainly would be a lot higher of a number. And I don't think they've lost it at all this year, at least this semester. This year, you could even argue that I don't know if they've lost it at all. But another really off point, I want to mention also that timer is wrong. It's because I switched the scenes, so it reset itself. But it is 7:30, so the match should be starting here just pretty soon. We just need to get the Western players in the lobby, and then we'll be ready to kick off our map number 1. LVC going to be starting off on the attack here on Clubhouse. This is their bread and butter. This is just about the best you could ask for in terms of what map you start on if you are Lebanon Valley. They just love playing this map. It is very comfortable for them. They do very well on it, so we'll have to see if they are able to take down Western and start the series off the way that they want. But of course, let's talk about the bans for the maps while we're at it. On the LVC side, you have Chalet, Consulate, and Oregon. So Chalet and Consulate are banned pretty much every series for Lebanon Valley. They don't really ever stray away from that. They just don't like those maps. The only other map you'll see them ban is going to be Night Haven. And on Night Haven, it's another map they've played like twice, I think. Or they played it in Activation. I remember they played Columbia on it in Activation, and they got stomped on that map. Not that Columbia's a bad team either. They are a really good team. They're legends, I believe, for a reason. But they also just did not play well. They don't like the map, and they're going to usually ban it. But that leads me into the bans for Western, who actually end up banning Labs second. Their other bans being Bank and Cafe, which if you saw LVC last week, they ended up taking down Fanshawe on Cafe to close out the series there. So that's something that also should be mentioned. But now we do have the Western players hopping into the lobby. Just waiting for a couple more, then we'll be ready to go. The picks, by the way, for the maps. Clubhouse, as I had said, is the LVC pick. On the other side, Border was the pick for Western. Border's a map they've played a couple times. They are 2-0 on the map, so they are looking to make it at least to that map number 3 if they can't claim Clubhouse. But the teams are very quickly ready to get into this one, so we're going to start it just as soon as we can, which by that I mean right now, as the teams are loading in here to Clubhouse. We'll see who starts off the series hot. And, of course, LVC again on the attack. So they'll get your middle 2 bans, 1 attacker, 1 defender for both sides. We'll get a ban. First Western, last Western, in between Lebanon Valley. I'm not really sure what Western's going to look for here. We had 1 VOD on them, but I didn't end up watching it, so I'm not really sure what happened there. They played Uwin, and Uwin did not have a great season, so I don't know how telling of a VOD it was for either side to look at. But you'll see Dokebi, the ban there for Western. I've been seeing a lot of teams ban Dokebi. I know she has, with her utility, she is very, very good in terms of attacking the cams, in terms of getting the calls to go, or calling and getting all the audio cues. Monty, the ban for Lebanon Valley, that makes a lot of sense. They don't like dealing with shields, and they don't play shields a whole lot themselves, so that is something that they are going to look to keep off of the map as much as possible. Although you will still probably see a blitz come in from Western, I'd assume, if they do want to play a shield. Osa and Blitz are still available. Blitz obviously being part of the new reworked shields that are insanely powerful, and that's also why you're seeing the Monty ban. Typically, you wouldn't see that, but with the new shield updates, with the current patch, that's just what's going to happen. You'll likely see more and more shield bans, even with teams that are not Lebanon Valley. You're also seeing the Solus get banned. That's been the standard ban for LVC on this map for a little bit. That or Azami, and they've been taking the Solus a lot more as of recently. Past 3 or 4 matches, they've taken Solus over Azami ban. And you'll see the Cade banned as well for the side of Western. Now we head into round number 1, as it will be defense for the Mustangs, and LVC going to be taking up the attack. We'll see that first site for Western be the bedroom and gym. So going to have to look likely towards getting the castles on that highway, and then the Fenrir. I do like that pick. Always a very smart one to have, especially when you're dealing with a site like this one. Of course, you're going to see the castle of our 6 tracker will be tossing down the castle barriers over towards highway. I mean, that's just always a standard. And then you're going to see the Jaeger and the Mute from Brandon Big Pete. Likely those 2 will be on the site, or relatively near it. I'm not seeing a Mira being played here, so likely this bathroom play will not be as much of a standard setup as you can see with other teams. Lebanon Valley do like to have that Mira, so what they would do is they would put a mirror on this bathroom wall, watch through jacuzzi. But here, you're going to see a different setup for Western, and actually it's looking like they're going to extend over towards cash for the most part. Most of these players, I mean, there is the chance that they're just doing setup. We'll have to see as they get to their final positions. Beepers being placed in cash as well. Barriers being, or walls being put back down, as it'll be Ren team killing Beamer, and Beamer leaving the game. As, okay, I don't know what just happened, but maybe he got a bug. He may have had like an audio bug or something like that. So we will play this round out, of course, as the Senate will take down Hearsay. As you can see those pings on the wall there, just kind of a nonsense round already for Western. They're down to a 3-5 very, very quickly. Mr. Davis on the blitz is going to jump into the bathroom. Will get that kill onto Ren after popping the flat. R6 tracker, though, finds one. Will not find the second. It's all down to Big P. And this round has fallen apart in the matter of an instant. Big P will at least find one. Looking to go massive in the round. It'll be the Senate going for that plant. Does have a nitro cell, so we'll see if that gets popped out. The Senate does get the plant down, though, so this round may be over as long as LVC do not overextend into this player. Shotgun is abound, but we will get a pause. I know they, even if they don't call for it, I will pause this because I'm not going to let them play a 4v5 just because they feel like it. They also did say he's coming back, so I will pause the timer for them as we'll see if they can get back into the lobby. Beamer has returned, so actually shouldn't be too long of a break as we will likely get right into the round here. No breaks as Lebanon Valley will take round number 1, but I don't really have much to talk about there. I mean, Ren immediately, like, the round popped, and Beamer was just shot in the back of the head. I'm assuming that was a call from his teammate to do that. It just, I don't know what could have possibly gone wrong there. And then after that, it was just kind of a collapse. Uh-oh. Okay. I was seeing Ren sit still again. I was really hoping it wasn't something going wrong there, but of course, they will transition sites, which, I mean, they didn't give themselves a fair shot on bedroom, so, like, I'm a bit surprised to see that, but at the same time, I understand you're going to head over to server and cache, and it's not a whole different site, to be honest with you, either. It's a relatively similar style. The main difference being you have the server wall compared to the bedroom, or the jacuzzi wall like you'd have over here. And even the operator composition is going to stay almost identical. You'll see the main difference, though, being an Azami there for our 6 tracker who was on Castle last round. Also, you're going to see Big P on the Fenrir instead of the Mute. Much different utility. But, of course, they did have a Fenrir last round, so just checking for any spawn peekers, but doesn't look like they have any from Western at the moment. I do like the Azami play up here on top of the rafters. Always a very annoying place to get players out of, even have the ADS, just to make sure that that player stays alive for even longer. You're going to see the Senate just waiting for that EMP. On the Deimos, we'll take a gander at what he's able to ping up, or who he's able to ping up in just a second once he leaves this drone. He's trying to bait for his teammate, as it'll only be the Fenrir that he can see. Deimos, though, trying to work with Reliable here towards Jacuzzi. Starting to move in towards him, and Mr. Davis actually gets caught out. Reliable gets caught out too. Both players are down, and they will get finished up by Big P. I believe that was a Nitro Cell out from Beamer to support there. And I'm a bit surprised to see that type of play from Lebanon Valley. I mean, Mr. Davis very slow on that push in the gym, and he ends up getting his life costed for it. Plexios can still only ping up Big P, which, I mean, they've already gotten 2 in the round, so not a lot Lebanon Valley can do. I mean, you're seeing the Senate just taking a very long to wait here for Emporium to get the EMP down. Now you're going to see this trash wall opened on up, but again, I mean, they're going to need a huge fight here, likely from Plexios, and as I say it, he gets shot in the back of the skull. R6 tracker with that AA-12. I've never seen someone use this gun on the Azami, but yet here we are. It's going to be all down to Emporium and the Senate, and they're going to have a mile of work ahead of them. Emporium, I mean, just watching server, but again, just 50 on the clock. The Senate just trying to walk through, and I mean, he's just pinched from every single direction. Not much he could do. Emporium 1v5 does at least get the first, so it won't be a flawless for Western, but this may all be for naught if they don't all take individual 1v1s. They need to be careful here, as you'll see the Bandit push away. Beamer not going to be that dumb on the play. Just wanted to test the aim of Emporium. Of course, Emporium sitting at 3-0. There's no kill streaks. Not like this will matter a whole lot, but unfortunately for LVC, this really won't be around. Does get the down onto Beamer. Just trying to watch every single angle, but his head should get ripped off here soon, as these players are challenging, but again, too much ahead of him. Beamer also got rezzed, so not much you can do here if you're Emporium. Just trying to stay alive, maybe keep the clean sheet, as it will be a round for the defenders of Western. 1-1 scoreline, and it all just starts with that play from Big P, and after that, it's just the round felt over at that point. LVC had no way of attacking, so now you're going to see Lebanon Valley have to, or sorry, not Lebanon Valley, Western to move to a different site. They were selected on random for a second. I thought they were just letting it to chance to see where they go, but thankfully for them, they don't do that. We'll see them head back over to the Benjamin Gym, as Again, that first time that they were there, it was a bit of a nonsense round. I mean, your teammate gets shot in the back of the skull immediately off the start of the round, and then you lose a player still trying to reinforce, trying to place down a bandit on the wall. You are going to see them pull out the Mira. Now they're going to be able to watch over Jacuzzi. He's got to feel out how LVC attacks this site. When they did go for that exact push, they had the LVC brought the bandit. Mr. Davis popped up, walked through the bathroom, rotate, shot or flashed on up and got a kill. Of course, it's going to be a much tougher push this time around if you are Lebanon Valley. I'm not seeing any spawn peaks out from anyone here on Western. Just being very safe on it. Plexus on the Deimos will be able to ping the position of our 6 tracker. Outside of that, though, not gonna have a lot of information to work with. Mr. Davis gonna be the one to drone through. The mute jammers doing their job, preventing these drones from pushing too far in towards the site, even towards the destruction. Emporium on the Maverick trying to make this foothold so they can shoot out any bandit that gets placed and make sure any feet that are spotted are quickly dealt with. Reliable trying to make some singular holes, but not gonna be able to spot anything. Plexios, I believe, used a ping. Actually, he did not. Now he's going to. Is Ren going to get a pick onto the Senate? That's a huge pick. And look at that. Plexios gets some damage on the Big P, but actually ends up getting flanked by our 6 tracker. Good call from our 6 tracker. Or sorry, not our 6 tracker. Good call from Big P. Gives the exact location of Plexios, knowing where those shots are coming from, and also having a player in the perfect position to take that fight. Catch Plexios off guard. Very tactical, very well-designed play so far from Western. They're showing very good defensive tactics. Mr. Davis, though, will catch Big P trying to rotate out. Looking to shoot Reliable in the back. He's getting hit himself. Emporium now going to burn down this castle barrier. Still a minute on the clock, just a 3v4. See the drones from Reliable. Some intel on the players in sight. A player in sight. Beamer with another C4 going to take down Emporium, but Mr. Davis doesn't connect all the shots. Emporium gets a kill with the Claymore, though. The shots to the head of Beamer don't connect there. That definitely looked like headshots, so I'm a bit surprised to see that not connect. Reliable now, last man left alive. 1v3, 28 seconds. Does at least get one, but still has some work ahead of him. Trying to take some very close angles. Spots the elbow of one, and the shots don't connect there for Reliable either, but this Mr. Davis shots definitely look like they hit. Again, can't really say much. It looks much better on this end than it does on the player end, so I'd imagine there's something more visible on the player side that made it clear that it would not be hitting in the head. Because again, we do get the benefit of an X-ray, so we can just kind of see everything around the players and the player outlines. Western will take a lead, though. And Western looking like the better shooting team at the moment, as now they do have to go down the stairs. Well, they don't have to, actually. That's a lie. But by the basic rule, they will likely go downstairs. Their only other option would be the first floor, and no one wants to go there if they don't have to. Big P, by the way, on the Rook. Don't see that operator basically at all. So I'm a bit curious to see what the reasoning for that one is. Maybe just knowing the way that LVC pushes, or how teams typically push this site, because I feel like I've seen it a lot, that kitchen push. Just relatively standardized across the scene. Not entirely. There are some iterations from different squads, but for the most part, it feels relatively the same between a lot of teams. And we'll see if anyone is looking Looking outside, and it looks like either Big P or Ren might be prepping for something, but ultimately I don't believe that is the case. You see everyone's gathered in sight outside of Ren, who's just a little bit outside of it. Wants to make sure that this upstairs floor isn't given for complete free. Big sight here too on the MP5 from Big P. Like seeing the ACOGs back in the meta. Of course, that was one of the many changes made in the Season 9 update. Or sorry, the Year 9 update. Hatch has been opened though. So that's step one of the contingency plan here for attacking this basement site on Clubhouse. Seeing Plexios look the drone through. Doesn't spot anyone, but of course, has the general knowledge of where people will typically play on this site. Mr. Davis does also get the intel on Ren, so Ren needing to be careful. Red ping is out, but does Ren have the knowledge themselves? Flash tossed, and now definitely has knowledge that he is being hunted. But will Ren get the kill? Got an old-fashioned standoff, but on the other side, we're just going to go down here to the plant. Emporium does at least end up falling. The Senate, though, gets the plant down. Mr. Davis did find a kill, as Beamer will get one with the C4. But here's Mr. Davis. Actually, this is Beamer, but Mr. Davis does find Big Pete. And now LVC in a 3v3 have a good chance here. Although Hearsay does at least have general knowledge of where these players are at. Can't quite see him though, as Mr. Davis takes Beamer out. Fuse is coming through, but Plexios is too wise to it. Flash also came in, so Hearsay didn't really have a great idea. And with just 13 seconds left, 10, there's just no way this Fuse goes through. As the shots from Hearsay almost there, but ultimately it does not matter. Plexios will get the finish with the shoddy, and LVC will tie it up at 2 apiece. Good round from Lebanon Valley there. They established control of Kitchen very early on, and Mr. Davis getting that kill all the way upstairs was really what I feel solidified the round. That might sound really weird to hear considering how far away from the play it was, but if he doesn't get that kill, then LVC have to focus heavily on a rotator, and while that typically is covered by Reliable, that may not have been the possibility depending on how that fight went down or where they ended up deciding where Ren decided to rotate from if they had gotten that kill. Good plant there from LVC. That is exactly how you win that basement site when you are the attacking team. You're going to see a Tachanka pulled out from Hearsay. I'm really curious to see the positioning and the play style of Hearsay in this round. That's just not an operator you really ever see. And I mean, last round we also saw a Rook, and the Rook did not work out, but to be fair, I'm not really sure if that's that can be evaluated based on how that attack goes for teams. Another OE from Big P. Big P on the Fenrir, maybe looking to spawn peek, and that's exactly what the goal of Ruski is here. But let's see if Big P decides to check any cams, as I don't think there's anyone on either side of him. It's definitely not now. Also won't step outside, so his location isn't revealed. Good work from Big P, not getting too overzealous on the spawn peak. Just seeing what information now they can gather. That's up a drone now. LVC starting to gather some information themselves. Hearsay though does have that Tachanka, so that Tachanka ability shoot out essentially does kind of what a Capital does, but not as long, I believe, and not as big of an area, and also has a ton more. Capital is like 3 or 4 arrows that shoot fire. Tachanka, as you can see there, has 20 of those fire canisters. Not really sure what they're officially called. Sorry, I don't know Rainbow well enough to know that name, but still not as fun to me as the turret that he used to have back in the old days of Rainbow Six. But of course, that's not what we're here to talk about. Big P will take get the first blood again. This one on the Mr. Davis. Reliable now stuck in Veteran, trying to take a fight, but Plexios on the pinch does at least make it a 4v4. And you can see those fire canisters starting to come out. Senate now open up the trash door, trash wall. Server wall has also been opened up. Plexios, who can he ping here? Zombie, Chanka, and Bandit. Bandit doesn't connect on a player, but that's not the goal. It's just intended to connect onto the Bandit. And Battery does. Live now has the angle as well as Plexios through construction here. 55 on the clock, and Reliable's head gets ripped off by Beamer. These shots of these players from Western are insane. Beamer gets another, this one onto the Senate. Head again ripped clean off. Plexios will fight back, makes it a 2v3. But you can see the impact of those fire canisters are significantly less than that of what you'd see from like a Capital. Still enough to keep players at bay. Headshot though for Emporium does make it a 2v2, just 30 on the clock. Plexios and Emporium have a pinch on these two players. We'll see if they end up collapsing. Plexios has a drone, has eyes onto the Chichanka, but it will be the smoke that catches him on the drone, and Ren will get the cleanup on Emporium. It all really starts with Beamer there, finds two, just spraying behind that bomb. That is great work from Western. And again, just a pure spray through and gets a couple kills, and that's all you need to do in Rainbow Six, especially one bullet to the head will kill you. So it's as simple as that. Now you're going to see them going back to the bedroom and gym sites. Going to see that mirror again come out. And again, this is pretty standard of a setup. I mean, you're going to see almost every team do this. The one thing I will point out is the smoke. You're not always going to see a smoke on this site as you would with other setups, depending on the team you watch. But not that smoke is a bad play. It's just simply you don't see it as often. But that operator specifically typically is not really something that it matters, but it's not as defined of a role. The castle is defined because you can block off all the high windows. He say on the mirror as Big P finds a first blood on Emporium. That's going to be your Maverick down too. That is a huge pick for Western. And now Big P starting to get aggressive. They weren't spawn peeking to start, but now you're seeing a lot more from Big P. Only 4 and 5 right now, but still having an impact with a lot of those first bloods coming from Big P. See the Senate being as careful as possible on this castle barrier. I think Nitro Cell comes out. It's one of the first Nitro Cells that they've thrown that hasn't gotten a kill automatically. Now the Senate may have some pressure here. Does need to be careful. Tiny hop outs decides to go all the way to the roof. Plexio's going to take a lot of damage there. Trying to hit some shots on the Big P, but Big P has the gunny. Our 6 tracker will get traded out by Mr. Davis. See the Mira towards red. It's going to cause a little bit of issues, but now will get taken down. Viral with the Ash of Reliable. And now it has to be some watching over. Beamer is just tucked in this corner, and Reliable can't get the kill. Somehow it ends up being a trade for the Senate. Beamer finds 2. And that just cannot happen if you're Lebanon Valley. Western, again, just proven to be the better shooters. I'm not even going to say their strats are better because they're just not. It's just simply they're shooting way better than Lebanon Valley right now. And the reason I say the strats aren't better is because they're standard. They're doing default strats. They're not doing anything different outside of Big P on the spawn peaks. Those are different. But outside of that, you're not seeing anything unique. You're just simply seeing shots connecting better for Western right now. And that is exactly what they need if they want to win this game. And from what I saw in the VOD against UN, that was what won them the game. They were shooting better. Not necessarily the strat game, it was simply the aim game. And when you can aim better, you can win rounds, especially when you're on defense. So they have that 4-2 advantage going into their attack. Lebanon Valley are a pretty strong defensive team, but I do have my concerns considering how that first half went. I'm very intrigued to see what Western pulls out on the attack. They are on the attack. They're a very aggressive team from what I've noticed here in this game. They just love holding W and flying to find kills. And it's not a bad thing. It's not something you see every day. Man, I'd be looking at your LVC here. Plexios makes very similar style plays to what we saw from Big P. Isn't always a spawn peek type of guy, but will do it if the time calls. You're already seeing some very early work over towards dirt being done. Hishay now running in as the buck. We'll take out the Valcam at least. I believe there's actually there's not an IQ off the drone ping though. Jackal ping coming in for Big P. That'll be onto the Valkyrie, which is that of Emporium. Very curious to see how aggressive Big P gets on this play. I mean, you have a mirror there. It's going to be reliable on the mirror. Mr. Davis already getting shot, tagged up in the back. The collapse is coming in so quickly for Western. Emporium shots aren't connecting there. He needs to hit these shots. He cannot afford to lose his life here. Does back away. Plexios will get first blood. It feels like forever since I've been able to save that. You want to take a look at where these spawners are at. Unfortunately, I can't see him, but I'm taking a wild guess and saying that kitchen hatch is probably broken by this point in time, and it is. So Vana, of course, will be rotating out from there. But in a 4v5, this becomes a bit tougher. Beamer, though, has the drone. You see that Jackal ping on Plexios, who is behind the mirror, though. Will just try and run in. Mr. Davis, though, is watching it. Bit surprised to see a run-in like that, but I don't think the drone had spotted Mr. Davis. I think he was standing on the opposite end of that stock there, so, or of that shelf there. Now you're just going to see a drop in. I mean, it is a 3v5, so you just kind of have to play for kills at this point. 1 minute left on the clock. Can they find these kills? It'll be Beamer basically up first. Flash is coming through. That's a good flash. Beamer may be able to just toss himself through here. As our 6 tracker has made his way up to the mirror. Those Havanas are muted. The Senate will fall to Beamer. Beamer has another in front of them. Our 6 tracker finds reliable. This is a 3v3. This is very doable if you are Western. Sprays from that entrance are coming through. Emporium now has a lot to watch as Plex is trying to watch through dirt. Our 6 tracker will find Mr. Plexius turns his intel away and is a 3v5 for Western. They play that to perfection. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to pull up the scoreboard there. And Lebanon Valley forced to take a timeout here, and that's exactly what I'm saying. The strats are not better from Western. They are not doing anything special strat-wise. They are just running and gunning, and it is exactly what Western needs to win this game. As I don't know if that's how they played their other games. I only had 1 VOD on them, but that's what I'm assuming they do in every single series, and you're seeing why it works. I mean, a team like LVC is insanely organized in the way that they play, so seeing collapses like that do not come almost ever. And, I mean, to lose 5v3 like that, that's unbelievable. I mean, Beamer also having a performance right now, 10 and 5, also 4 assists to the name. I mean, that's crazy stats from them. And even so, you have Beamer sitting at 6 and 4, and it's not even saying anything bad, but about the other 3 on the team. It's just Beamer putting on a show at the moment. I mean, you saw it for Beamer. To me, it just looks like spray, and you're probably going to hit a headshot. I mean, Beamer went through the door, holding left click, just walked, holding left click the entire way through, and it gets a kill. Like, there's not a whole lot you can do against that. This isn't Call of Duty. You can't just drop shot someone. It's just not a thing. So, now 5-2, and LVC are in a bit of trouble here. Lebanon Valley, I mean, that basement site's a relatively easier one to hold, but again, Western just the better attacking team, the better gunny team, to be honest. Their shot is just better right now. And that's what's giving them the lead, this type of lead. LVC, though, looking to point their, what I, again, will call pretty much default strat. The main difference I wanted to point out, by the way, when I was talking about this before, Plexios is going to be playing the Frost here. That is the operator that is simply interchangeable. You can usually have Smoke there, like we saw with Western. They would play Smoke on this site. Outside of that, it's pretty similar. You're going to always see a Mute or Bandit in the position of the Senate. Then you'll always see that Mira. The one round you didn't see the Mira was just a nonsense round. So, I mean, that doesn't really count that much. It's reliable. Also, on the Wamai here, you can switch your Wamai for a Bandit, or not Bandit, sorry, a Jaeger, and they're kind of the same thing. So,
Torch is ready.
I'm seeing a player already up in rafters. Who is that? That's going to be Big P. And I think Big P is so aggressive, and they have a red ping on that player. Whoever's at the red stairs right now, and that might be a kill for Western, and it is. Big P just going to take the head off of Reliable. And Plexios does at least get a trade on the Beamer. Now a 4v4. R6 Tracker trying to take down that hatch, and doesn't really have the most utility for that job, but the gun will get it done. Gonna take a Twitch drone down there. We'll see if this mirror, and it will get opened up. Good work from R6 Tracker, very smart play there. And now that's a big play for Western. See Mr. Davis prepping to throw this nitro cell. Does come out, and it will find Ren, but look at this angle from Hisei. We'll just decide to full wall. Emporium gets down. Big P finds another one on Mr. Davis, now 2v3. Again, rounds continually flipping on their head for Western. They're doing a great job keeping LVC at bay. That's a triple for Big P. And now LVC may just be down to a huge comeback, and it will be that 4 on the round for for Big P. And Lebanon Valley, this is their best map, by the way, so seeing a scoreline like this is unprecedented coming into this series. Western very much just running and gunning and making it work, but in that round you saw a lot more calm play. It was not the run and gun we were seeing in previous rounds. It was a lot calmer, a lot more strategized, and not saying that their other rounds weren't, but this one felt more collected. And we're seeing there 6-2 for Western. They are on match point, not series point, of course, as we do have a best of 3 ahead of us, but obviously going to need a 4-round comeback to send it to OT. And are we seeing a 4-man roam from Lebanon Valley? This may be going for broke at this point. This is not something you see from these guys basically ever. You will, though, see I was going to say a relatively similar setup attacking-wise as what the last round was, but I would be completely wrong now that I'm looking to my right here on my third monitor that has the stream pulled up, which, of course, as is standard in Rainbow Six, 3-minute delay. So do get to at least see the past round if I ever need to. And I think we are seeing a 5-man roam, or sorry, 4-man roam. Mr. Davis, of course, still on site. What information does Western get off of this, though? Do they notice this right away as Ishe may very well get that exact information? As now, yeah, you're seeing Western, they're going to sprint at this, and that is not a bad idea. They know that there's not a lot of pressure on the site, so they're going to try and take advantage of it as quickly as possible, and the Senate has already gone down. Beamer will get the kill. Beamer having a heater of a map right now. Big P going to take down Reliable. Beamer going to get a second onto Mr. Davis, and that should be the game, but Emporium Plexios finding 2. Plexios' kill, for some reason, only shows up on the kill feed for half a second before falling out, but he did manage to find 1. Lebanon Valley now at least making this a winnable round, but Hishe again with a very nice angle. A lot of good angles being held by these Western players. Although Emporium finds two, Hishe though puts it all down to Plexios, 1v2. We've seen him in these situations before. 7-6, very calm game. Turn it all around right here. Is he on the Azami? Going down, does he get the timing? He might not. Also pinned everywhere. Everyone is around him, and that will be the map for. I paused for a second. I thought I miscounted because I saw no one typing in chat, but that will be the map. 7-2 for Western. That is a huge win for Western. That was the LVC map pick. That is probably LVC's best map as well. As you see the stats here after the map. 12-7 from Beamer, 10-7 from Big P. 8-8 there from Mr. Davis, 7-7 from Emporium, 7-7 from Plexios. And it has been a long, long time since I've seen LVC get played like that on a map, but we'll see if they want a break, and it looks like no. So what we are going to do is we're just going to switch up the map to make sure we have all the settings ready to go, as it will be border. This is the pick of Western. They are currently 2-0 on the map, so we'll see if they manage to make that 3-0 here, as we are just going to go straight into map number 2. I will start it right here, right now. Make sure I have the teams right. I do. So we are just going right into it. This is the first time in a long time I've been able to just go straight into a second map, and honestly, I kind of appreciate it, as Western looking to close out the series here. I'll quick transition. Man, going back-to-back maps like this, it feels weird, but I personally enjoy it. I don't always like having that huge break. I didn't strain my voice in that map, so I'm completely okay with it. It wasn't like an insanely close one, especially in that second half. Again, just Western outgunning LVC there. It's not something I've seen pretty much ever. At least I have. I definitely have seen it, but not since activation, where they had to play a team like Columbia, who is one of the best in all of Collegiate Gar 6, but Western, of course, looking to make themselves the name all the way up there as well. Again, they haven't technically lost a game. Their loss was a forfeit, so that's why they weren't the first seed. They didn't play UF. Actually, I don't even. They may have played UFT, who was the #1 seed. I didn't really get a chance to look. I apologize for not looking. That was usually part of my research, but since this is playoffs, it's not as important to my research. So unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to look at that. But that's not what's important right now. What is important here are the map ban or operator bans. It'll be Ram off of it for Lebanon Valley. Dokebi again banned by Western, and they're gonna again go for the Fenrir. No, Cade was the ban last time for Western defensively, so it'll be Fenrir this time for Western. And the final ban before we get into map number 2. I mean, again, Western looking to close this one out. Also, I wanted to mention this. LVC, the last American team left in the bracket, looking to represent the U.S. well, as Toronto Metro and Toronto Mississauga are playing tonight on the other side for their spot in the grand finals of the Champions Yellow Division. And then this side, you of course have Western, who is from Ontario, if you were unaware. But considering what I'm seeing in our chat, I'm taking that as most of you already know that. At least that would be my assumption. But if you are unfamiliar with Lebanon Valley, at least Annville, Pennsylvania, so not insanely far from the border themselves. But nonetheless, still the only American team in the bracket. Or left in the bracket. They weren't the only American team in the bracket. But LVC get that defensive start here on border. And border, I feel a much more favorable map for Western. A lot of tight angles, a lot of pacing for the attackers kind of required here. This one, it relies a lot more on your gun skill, I feel, rather than your strats. Not that the strats aren't important, but I feel that you can get away with a few more things here, especially with the way the map is laid out. LVC going to be starting out with the office and armory sites. Apologies, I forgot what office was called, or archives. I forgot what archives was called, but I would get it eventually. As Big P. Actually get some really early aggression. Hishe going to be right on the Monty, and they're going to see the Ash actually a big P push forward first up. The smokes will now go through as the nades, nitro cells, everything. You can hear every single sound. I mean, look at this setup from both sides. It is pure chaos right now on border. I am blinded. I can't see a damn thing. Look at the flank there from Plexios. Decides to find one. Big P will get a trade on the Reliable, but now Plexios again pushing through. Has to throw in a zombie out just to try and get Hishe out of the way as Mr. Davis will get taken down. And this round is going by very, very quickly. Big P gonna get a second. Another opponent detected outdoors with Plexios just trying to get out of the way. Does at least find Big P, but can't find another's. Actually, Hishe didn't even get that kill. I thought Hishe was trying to take down the shield, but would have taken forever. But with no time remaining, it is just a concrete rush for Western, and they are the kings of rush. I mean, I don't even know what happened. I already don't know Rainbow Six enough. I don't know what the hell I just saw. I saw 5 players blast into a building, and then they all started blasting, and then the round ended. So, Western up 1-0 here. I mean, wow. They are just outpacing right now. They are playing off pacing, and it is working. It is absolute bread and butter for these guys right now of Western. I am baffled by what I've been seeing tonight. Oh, and LVC have doubled down. They want it again. They want to see if they can hold again here. Now, Western, to be fair, I feel that there's a chance they will change up the strat, considering LVC would probably be expecting that heavy rush. And you can see that Western does get the official game pings on the bomb site, so they're certainly aware of what's going to go down. I don't really know how to camera angle for this push, so I'm just really hoping they don't do it again, because I don't know where to put the camera, to be honest. I don't know who to put the camera on or put it third person. I don't know what to do there. LVC, though, with a bit of a different setup, yet the Valk on the last round for Emporium will be now switched up to a mine. I understand, because there's a lot of nades thrown, and LVC just could not account for all of it. Senate has a pop-out ready. Plexios also hopping outdoors. Get some fresh air, but will not find a kill. Seeing a very tight angle from... I was going to say a tight angle from Plexios, but it is a tight angle. It's just, I definitely cannot see what I thought he was going to see. The Senate may be waiting for some util to be thrown, but none of it will go through. It's going to be a completely different push here for Western. You see those shots coming through that castle barrier.
Reload.
I'm not sure who that is. That might be Reliable. It is. Hanging out in CC. Trying to play off this. His teammates are giving him, but he has to just run away. Ends up giving up his location, so has to find a different avenue to go through. And look at that. Plexios maybe not even expecting Big P, but still managed to find the kill. First blood will go to Plexios. Reliable, though, will get traded out. 4v4. Mr. Davis will make it for LVC.
Magnet active.
1:30 on the clock for Western. Come to a halt here
Prepping needle.
if you are Western. And I think I'm seeing why here. We'll see what this results to. What that results to in a little bit there, probably like 10, 15. Actually, our 6 tracker does get caught out by the Senate. That's what I was waiting for on the pinch, but I wasn't sure if our 6 tracker would get anything. I didn't want to comment. 5 ping for Mr. Davis. I'm assuming that's an LVC ping, considering showing I'm spectating an LVC player. 45 on the clock. Hishe holding the tightest of angles, but it is a 2v4. Now his location's known. We'll see if Mr. Davis is able to find anything. This is just such a tough location to be in. So they're just waiting for it, but Emporium on the opposite end, holding the cross from the bomb. good, smart play from Lebanon Valley. That should be the round. 15 on the clock. Beamer by himself. 1v4, not enough time, and will get cut down. Actually, Mr. Davis gonna get the kill. LVC very patient on that play. And that's good work from Lebanon Valley, as Beamer just desperately wanting a peek from Mr. Davis, but of course, that's not the LVC play style. They will never take gunfights like that. And see at least some banter between the two. Might be a semifinal, but all good vibes on both sides. Lebanon Valley now looking for their second round in a row. They've tied it up at 1 apiece. Bathroom is going to be the site. Now the team focused a lot on border in the pregame. I did get to hang out with the team a little bit beforehand here tonight, and you're going to see, I'm going to point this out immediately. These footholds right here, the Senate would typically not put those there, but Plexios made sure to specify put footholds on the rotate. So we'll see what those end up doing, and you're even seeing them put down here. And you might even see some through over towards Workshop as well, although he is just kind of opening the full wall. So the main point, though, I did want to make footholds added to the rotate, added to the typical plant spot. Just be aware of that as we get later into the round where the plant could be coming through. Outside of that, everyone else from LVC going to be rotating on around. Mr. Davis going to be the only one even on the same floor as the Senate, but of course that's because there's a lot of hatches and a lot of doors to cover on up if you are Lebanon Valley. Seeing a lot of drone work from Western. Look at this angle from Hishe. Not gonna spot it, but that is a pretty long angle that they're holding there. Big Pink will end up stepping into one of Emporium's mines, but will also get the pink. So call that kind of fair trade. A little bit more unfair to Emporium, but we'll see if Emporium's able to find anything here. Is, I believe, gonna have to do just one player. And look at that, tries a prone, and good work for Emporium, but will get immediately traded out. As it's a double trade this time. Everyone is gonna fall. It's a 2-for-2 for both sides, and now the 3v3. Lebanon Valley still having a good bit of map control here. I would say the 3v3 definitely favors the defenders in this round. As it will now be a 3v2. Nitrous could have almost taken out Beamer too. You can even see he takes a step back after that C4 comes through and knocks his teammate off the map. Sham, the Nomad, going to step into another Legion mine. Good placements from Emporium upstairs on these mines. But we did see a 5v3 earlier on Clubhouse thrown away by LVC, so this round is certainly not over, but those Legion mines are certainly being a bit of a nuisance for Hishe. Drone, though, good spot. Doesn't get overzealous on it either. Some big intel picked up. Hishe has jumped down east, and now Beamer looking for the pinch. We'll place down a second Claymore, but we'll see if those end up affecting it later into the round. There, so maybe not, but shots ringing out. And you can just see the tension building here. Look at this. Look at this angle here. Let's hop on with Hishe though for just a quick second, as this is just such a weird push. This is gonna have to be a full collapse for Western Mustangs. See the one pings. They at least know of one player's location. I think that's Mr. Davis. These players trying to get together. 10 seconds now on the clock. Good work from Beamer. That's fine first. Plexios, though, trading out the second. And now, as long as one player stays alive, that will be the round. Beamer has the case, but doesn't really have anywhere to plant, so that will be the round for Lebanon Valley. They will go up 2-1. And that's a very patient round, and now you're seeing how Lebanon Valley can win the rounds against Western. They simply need to be patient. Especially on a map like Border, you can get benefited from that. But I did say earlier, I kind of contradict myself for a second. I did say earlier that the rushes on border can be very, very advantageous, but in the same vein, if you go to that exact other opposite of the extremes, sitting in a corner and just hanging out, forcing the attackers to make a play can benefit you defensively so well. And now we're going to see Plexios on the dock. I'm very intrigued to see if those syringes end up coming into play. As most times I've seen a dock, it hasn't ended up affecting a round too heavily. LVC, though, adjusting to that playstyle Western has thrown at them. As far as I know, I guarantee you, LVC has seldom or never seen this type of playstyle. There are not many teams that can play this type of way, or play the type of way Western does and do it effectively. I've seen very few teams try to just be hyper aggressive and it just work. But they're getting a lot of information too. Their drone work, it has to be impeccable, and it has been just that. As now the Lion coming out for Western as well. I'm a bit surprised to see a scan come in that early. Maybe just trying to make sure no one's spawn peeking, because that makes a little bit of sense. You're gonna see Plexios prep one of the windows over towards CC, but drones bound for Western. You're seeing that pings from Mr. Davis. Now Plexios has hopped outdoors, but doesn't get back in time. I believe that was based off of the calls from Mr. Davis, as kind of seen through the wall for just a second. Has got those heartbeats, but Plexios maybe a bit too much on that. I'm not sure if I really agree with Plexios just hopping out there. They make so many rounds from completion on plays like that, but you do have to take your advantages where you get them. Of course, they have a lot less information than I do here. And Poyam doesn't get that kill onto Ren. Gets him very weak though.
Reload!
That's reliable. Ends up getting taken down by Beamer. I'm not sure where Beamer was at, but actually just ran into sight, and that's going to be a second. Emporium tries to sprint through the rotating, drop down through the hatch. And look at this, the Sen's going to get completely off course. That's a quad kill for Beamer, looking for the ace. I thought Beamer, I forgot Beamer was playing the line, but it will be a flawless. Big P will steal the ace, but ultimately, I'm sure Western does not give a damn. Will be a 2-2 scoreline. And Lebanon Valley decimated in that round. LVC will pop back up to Armory and the Archives. 2-2. LVC fighting for every single round that they get. LVC are just fighting tooth and nail right now. Again, down 1-0, so this is a map that they desperately need. Map 3 is Skyscraper. Currently only 1-1 on the map. Western, again, 2-0. They have not lost many maps this entire season. I think they've only lost one, and it was to Ohio State last week. I think they may have gone to one other Game 3, but it has been very few and far between for these Western Mustangs. Game 3 is not something they see very often, but when they do, they make sure to come out on top. Again, their only loss comes off of a forfeit, so you can't even really count that towards them getting map losses. They didn't play them. Although, technically it does count towards your map count, obviously, just for the sake of tiebreakers, but they realistically have not really lost maps basically at all. Has intel there. On too reliable. Likely just gonna mean they won't be peeking this. The Senate will find first blood, though. Big P
Loading new
getting
mag.
caught out. I'm not even really sure where that was. It looks like balcony was the place of death for Big P. As the Senate towards these stairs. Not the angle. Took advantage. Now 4v5 in favor of Lebanon Valley.
Second floor.
Seeing Reliable struggle to take that drone out. They're having a tough night so far. Sitting at 1 and 4 here, and I didn't get this. I don't remember the exact stat line, but it was not good last time. As now the plant going down. Maxios, though, gonna get one onto Beamer, so 5v3 and another Maestro cam for Mr. Davis. Good placements there. As one gets taken down, the other takes over. Now that plant into concrete cannot go down because of those Maestro cams. You have to dedicate an entire resource. But actually, the Brava drone, I didn't even notice he had a Brava. The Brava will take advantage of it, so it does end up getting destroyed. Good work from our 6 tracker to get that hack. Still only a 3v5. They've won these before, though. 1-1 on Clubhouse. All we see, though, just need to be patient. And we can win another round. Third Meister camp will be getting, actually will not be getting hacked on up. Will still not be getting hacked on up, and the Bravo drone gets taken down. So LVC are going to keep that Meister camp in their possession. That's a big one to keep, as it's the last one that Mr. Davis has. Ace charges will connect. Will take out the wall. Well, you won't be seeing them take advantage of it. Just trying to create some form of diversion if they can. And you're seeing the plant go down as now our 6 trackers trying to find an angle on the player pushing to take that diffuser down. Our 6 tracker will at least get Emporium, but it is a 2v4. Just 20 seconds on the clock, and Miche will at least take down Mr. Davis, actually. So this is still winnable, but again, LVC just needs to be patient. Now the diffuser, though, is getting planted. And this goes down. This could be a tough round for London Valley to win. Pushes are coming through. Now a 1v1. It will be an attacking win again. 3v5, and I don't know how Western keep taking these rounds away. Beamer not even sure how they've won the round. And LVC cannot keep affording to toss these rounds away. I'm not. They aren't shooting well, I guess. I don't know how that's just happened. I mean, that's a tough round for Lebanon Valley, and going down to 3-2, and I mean, that is a demoralizing round if you are Lebanon Valley. They have to stay into this one, though. They can't get in their own heads just yet. So you see the Senate making those footholds once more. Again, just wanted to point it out because it's typically not done, at least by Lebanon Valley, so if you've been around, not something you see very often. Round 6, LVC can at least end this in a 3-3 half. Going into their attacking side. See the Yana pulled out from Big P. Curious to see what that is able to do. Someone did hop outside, I believe. I'll assume that was Plexios. Reliable, and may very well have been Plexios. Looks like Reliable just kind of currently waiting for it. Reliable will be just tossing down a hatch, so LVC setup done. And the Senate in sight, by the way, has already been killed through the drone hole, I think. As our 6 tracker is just going to take advantage of that one. Big P, though, does fall, so a quick trade for Lebanon Valley. And the Senate, I thought the furthest player away from action, but apparently not. Start backing on up. Does take down one of the cams. I mean, you can see 3 drones here in bathroom for Western. They have every single square inch of that bathroom covered in terms of cameras. And look at this angle. This is the angle our 6 tracker got onto the Senate. So if you were curious what happened, that's what. LVC now might just have to play the post plant here. I don't know if there's anything that they can do here. Plant goes down, and yeah, LVC 4v4 post plant. 40 on the clock. Mr. Davis will get his second. Emporium, though, gonna get shot in the back from Hishe. Gets a double kill from behind. And I'm not sure if they're trying to line something up or just trying to play Mr. Davis, and does just that. That's a third. Plexios 1v3. I've seen incredible plays from this man, but This may be too much for him to take. Does at least find one, but again, the trade was immediate, was waiting. 4-2 again. This is a very scary situation if you are the Dutchman. Down 2-4. Now we see now heading to the attack. I mean, they're gonna have to pull something out here. This is just something that they haven't dealt with a lot, especially this semester. Now they have dealt with being down in previous semesters. Let's be real, they dealt with it a lot. So they certainly know what it's like to be in a position like this, but it has been a fair amount of time. And also, I do want to actually mention this. Now that I'm thinking about it, Nationals implications are in on this match. So Lebanon Valley, if they lose here, obviously it's not ideal, but they have still made Nationals, and that's what they would be looking forward to. And also NECC playoffs, because they are in NECC. If you were unfamiliar, they do play in NECC as well. They have playoffs coming up in a few weeks. But LVC has already confirmed their spot for Nationals. They won Challengers Cyan Division last semester. So, or sorry, not Challengers, Champion Cyan Division last semester. So they do have that national spot confirmed. Western does not. Western needs to win the division to guarantee a national spot, or I don't know if they're pulling the second place teams as a guarantee for nationals, but the second place teams are currently slotted to be in an LCQ. So if Western can win this match, they can at least give themselves a chance in the LCQ.
Reloading.
If they do have one. Again, Rainbow Six is really small in terms of teams, so I don't know if they might just give the second place all auto spots, and that's going to be a spawn peek from Beamer, but immediately going to be traded out. Plexios going to take him out.
Drones up.
Reliable. Takes down Heshane. You're seeing the aggression of Western. I mean, they are flying at these Lebanon Valley players. You saw how defense was played for LVC. They were slow, methodical, and just let the attacking team come to them. Western, they are doing the exact opposite. They are going balls to the walls, throwing themselves ahead. And I mean, it works. They got that first blood, but now they're down to a 3v4. Almost just had a headshot onto one of the LVC players there. That was kind of close.
Reloading.
Now just waiting to toss the nitro cell. Here it goes, and here it is. Kill onto Emporium. R6 tracker. I don't know if I would assume there's a player on cam or something watching audio cue. Good play though. Either way, Plexios does have 2 adrenaline surges left, and he'll pop one of those 2. I have a tactical advantage at the moment. Not gonna see. Reliable has a 1-on-1 here in Armory, but with that slight, as ever so slight advantage to Big P. That's going out. Our 6 tracker is down below. He's making a push through metal, and we'll see if that ends up meaning anything. Big P will get taken down though. Now down to Ren. R6 tracker now down to Ren. Do they know his location? I mean, they damn well do now, as R6 tracker hops up through metal, has the most minimal amount of health. That get out of the way, and he does. But he does get ran. Oh my God, melt Plexios off that bomb heady, but still has 2 players left to take down and not a lot of health to do it. The second he walks in the door, certainly be dead regardless, because you can't hop through that rotating. Doesn't even matter. Reliable can actually get the kill beforehand. Now 3-4. And again, you're just seeing exactly the complete opposite play styles of 2 teams here. And yeah, Western have had an advantage all night, but I mean, they got to be very careful with those types of hop outs. LVC are certainly going to be aware of them at this point in time. It has been every single round you've been throwing yourself at the opposition. It can work, and we've seen that it can work, but you can't just do that every single round. You are eventually going to get countered heavily. So LVC certainly wising up here and now adjusting for the Western playstyle. We are going to see a change here, though. For Western, they're going to go all the way down. P on the Oryx, by the way. So we'll see what comes of those dashes and also that roaming capability. I severely doubt Big P will be anywhere near the site for a majority of the round or at all, depending on how quickly Big P dies. We have seen Big P get traded out a lot of fights, so just looks to get that first blood and then ends up calling it a day, calling it a round, gets picked off. Shea gonna be on the Frost. We got a cancel out from our 6-tracker, Ren on the Cade, and Beamer on the Jaeger. 10-3, by the way, from Beamer, having another very strong game. On the LVC side, I mean, you have pretty even stat lines from a fair amount of players, and the Senate having rough games. The Senate, though, typically, especially now you see him playing the Shield, will have games like this. We'll see what the Senate's able to do on the Monty. That's reliable. Looking for that same foothold, and look at that, Plexio's first
Changing
blood.
max.
Gonna take out Ren. Use the Cade down, and that's actually a big pick for Lebanon Valley as well. It's now, for any hatches they go through, just the Cades that were originally placed will have meaning. And I don't know if there's any Cade tricking that was planning on going on, but if there was, it certainly cannot happen now. Plexios and the Senate have walked on in. Claymore's now being placed. Drone's now being thrown. LVC looking to continue making their way through. Mr. Davis doesn't even have a sight on this gun. That looks egregious. You can see, I think, for a second there, reliable. As Ren ends up leaving the game there, and you can, again, now this is going to be a 1v1 in the... Oh, 1v1 in the foe! It's going to be a down, though, for reliable. He backs away, so Shea will get rezzed on up. But now with very little HP. Thankfully, at least it was Ren that left the game, so Ren already dead. It didn't really matter. Scans now coming in. Players cannot move. They don't want to be paying. Beamer yinged on up. The diffuser is starting to get planted by the Senate. What Gamers do? Western have nade. Probably going to take down that shield. I mean, I can't even tell. That's all of the players from Western being tagged up, but it is Western getting the kills. Mr. Davis gets taken down by Big P. Diffuser is planted, though. This is going to be such a tough retake if you are Western. Still, Lion scans coming through. Quorum has one more left. The Senate just hanging out on the bomb. There's no more nitro cells left. Can't do a single thing about the Senate outside of punching him. Quorum finding one. The Senate, though, does get taken down, so it is a 2v3. LVC needs to be very careful here. They know Plexios' location. Now, though, the defuse has to come through. If you are on the side of Western, and this player cannot die off plant or off the fuse, and they do. So that will be a round for Lebanon Valley, 1v1, but it doesn't matter as the defuse will not come through. Bomb gets disarmed. Lebanon Valley have tied us on up. Gets a bit close there if you are Western, as we do end up needing a rehost here. So we will actually just... As we will rehost the lobby, we will make sure we get into this game as quickly as possible, but I did accidentally shut my game instead of just restarting or just closing out of the lobby. So give us just a couple minutes. Let's do a quick little break as we currently await to get the restart going. We'll be back here in just a little bit as we get ready to gear up for the rest of, hopefully for the rest of map number 2. We'll see you guys on the other side. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have everyone in the lobby just yet, but we have all the LVC players and one of the Western players, so everyone will be filling in just a couple seconds here. Unfortunately, I'm dumb and I accidentally quit out of the game, so it took a bit longer. And I also forgot to play music during that, so if you sat through that 5 minutes of silence, you are a trooper. I apologize for that. I can't believe I forgot, but yeah. The players are now in, though, and we are ready to go. So we will just get right back into it. Lebanon Valley, Western 4-4 is where we are restarting at. So we are here ready to go. As we may have to rehost again, unfortunately, because the round history just doesn't want to work for us. So we will have to rehost, unfortunately. But that is A-okay, as we will rehost it again. For some reason, I was told that the round history would just auto account for it, but no, that's just not how it works. It's for some reason. So what we will do is we'll again rehost and then make it everything back to what it was. So apologies, but give us like 3 more minutes and I'll turn music on this time. So we'll be right back on the other side with the rest of map number 2.
Way too many faces in the crowd, but I think that I see you. One too many days got me changing up the way that I need you. Now we're both at a bar.
All right, we are now officially good. Everything is correct. Bands all of it fine, thankfully. So we are here now to get into round number 8. We have a tied ball game here, or sorry, round 9. Tied ball game, 4-4. As we head into round number 9, LVC on the attacking side, Western defending on up. Can LVC bounce back and send this to map number 3, which would be Skyscraper, or will Western book their ticket to the finals? We'll have to find out through the rest of this replay, or rehost. And we archive and armory for Western. You see the Goyo, and I find this placement quite interesting. I don't know if any teams put it there. I feel like I've seen most teams put it on the side of this door, but of course it will go off either way. As long as you break this door down, it'll still go off. You're going to see also a Maestro from Hishe, and we saw how effective Mr. Davis was with it earlier on. So likely going to be looking for a similar type of play. See some shields or some barriers. Some frost mats also put one down. Plexius on the glass this round, and I'm assuming the concrete plant is the goal here if you are Lebanon Valley. This is a typical setup for it, and you see they're very heavily accounting for these spawn points of Western. They want to be careful about it all, but the man that will make that decision at the end of the day will be Mr. Big P. I only say Mr. because that's an assumption on part, so that's incorrect. But either way, Western looking to be in a good spot here. As Beamer had a very solid start to that first part of this map. And also had an incredible map 1. Almost had a couple aces already today. See if there's more in their fire. If you really want to go that far, though, it'll be R6 Tracker, the one to make that type of play. Of course, on the Goya, you get those piece of utility you can toss down and put a bullet or two through, and it will put a layer of fire all across the floorboards and the walls if it gets that far ahead. You're going to see Big P holding a tight angle. Will this get droned out? That's going to be necessary for Lebanon Valley to find, but at the moment, you're going to see that, and now you do. See the Maestro cam. Actually, it may have been hacked by LVC. Mr. Davis on the Bravo may have gotten it. Plexius, though, is going to get taken out by Big P, so that'll be first blood for Western. And now the Senate going to go for that plant. At least has the shield to his back, so will those impacts be enough? They will not. Actually, yeah, they will. Mr. Davis only gets one on the cross. The smokes end up actually kind of benefiting Western, as Mr. Davis does at least find a second. Now makes it a 3v3. There is a chance for this bomb to go down, or this diffuser to go down. Ishe will have an opportunity here. As Beamer gonna find Reliable again. He's had Reliable's number all day, and not even a chance for Lebanon Valley to make a play, as Emporium has gone down too. It's all down to Mr. Davis already, and has way too much ahead of him, and it will be a 5-4 lead for Western. LVC had a good initial strategy there, but ultimately it really got taken away as we saw Western get aggressive on that site. And again, that's exactly what has been killing Lebanon Valley this entire day, as now we head into round number 10, and they are currently down 5-4. They'll head all the way down to the bathroom, and you're going to see an Ella up from Renan. I feel like I know what's going to come of this. We'll see, though, if I end up being correct, because I'm probably not. Also a cap can out from Big Pete. Now that's someone I know will go for the exact play. Everyone in the building knows what's going to happen. But can you stop it is the better question. Also going to see an echo out from Hishe. Maybe an adjustment onto this site as they struggled when that diffuser got planted last time around. Don't want to have to deal with that ever again. And if we do make it to Skyscraper, you're probably going to see a decent bit of that echo play. Of course, Lebanon Valley have to win here first. Also, I do want to reiterate the Nationals implications here. If Western win, they get a good shot to give themselves an auto bid to Nationals. And even so, they get that LCQ spot if they do win here. LVC have already confirmed a Nationals spot. They are guaranteed one after taking down UND in the finals last semester. So they have every right to that Nationals bid, and now they have to. And now they're just kind of looking to deny a team a spot in the finals. On the other bracket in the Champion Cyan division, we're seeing the same thing with Texas Tech. If they are able to win out there, they will also deny a player another national spot. And Mr. Davis, no regard for human life, and he will hit the cap again, but stay alive. Oh, very, very weak. And now LVC get the hatch open, take an ADS down. Drones will now go through. Seeing some shots get put down, and Pouring gonna fall to Hishe. You can see that from the Senate. Got the intel onto Big P, but Big P at least found a kill before falling, so it is still a man advantage for Western. And that's trouble if you are Lebanon Valley, but if they can get that plant down somehow, that would be huge. Of course, they're very likely going to need at least a kill or two before that happens. Shots into the back of Reliable from Beamer. Senate can't really do a whole lot. He's simply behind a shield for the rest of this round. Mr. Davis and Reliable are going to have to be the factors here. Reliable, though, has very minimal health, so he's just going to have to rely on these flashes doing a lot of the work. The Senate is going for that plant, has the shield on his back, but the Echo Drone can't really account for that, as there should be a second one here. Can the Senate stay alive? Does have Mr. Davis watching over. Will that plant go through? Doing his best to watch over is Mr. Davis. Does it planted? No! Half a second from that plant going through, and now the flank from Beamer. It's going to be a four-piece for the kid. And LVC now one round away from getting sent out of the playoffs. And this has just been a masterclass from Western on aggression. Now down 6-4. They're going to need another comeback if they want to make this their map. But we're seeing the Ella again from Big P, and I don't know what primary Big P is bringing with them, but to be fair, it feels like it doesn't even matter at this point. Big P has just been throwing themselves at every single player. And I again, have just not really seen a style that like I have out of Western. I mean, they are just so hyper aggressive, and I'm not sure how many teams are really able to stop that. I mean, we'll have to see if Western does make the finals, if that team on the other side does manage to do that, which if you are unsure of who is playing there, it is Toronto Mississauga taking on Toronto Metropolitan. So again, LVC, the only American team left in this bracket. All Canadians outside of it. It's looking like we may have a Canadian final. I don't know how many times it's happened. I feel like it's very rare. Plexios, though, will get that first blood onto Big P, and that's what I was saying. Big P is so hyper aggressive, and it will be a first blood for Plexios. They're trying their best to handle this aggression, but it is so tough. Even when you have guns like Plexios on your team, it's just not enough to deal with. Seeing some drones now get tossed around. Seeing some utility placed down. Ren has a play off of Beamer's gun. Shots going down, but you're hitting the shield. Unfortunately, if you are Beamer, has to back away. That is the Senate you were shooting at. I would imagine hoping that there was a player's actual head there, but certainly was not that. Senate trying to block off these players. Important does go down on the other end. Will finally fall to Ren. Ren has to use the nade, though, the impact nade for it. Plexios does find a second kill. Ren trying to do all they can, but Plexios now finds his third of the round, looking to make a difference here. Reliable will fall, so it is actually, never mind, it won't come all down to Plexios. Mr. Davis will take down our 6 tracker, and now it's all down to Hishe. LVC looking to at least send this to OT. The Senate now going for the plant. Answer so in hand. Will that connect? No. Immediately taken out, but the Senate will fall 2v1. This is not the least winnable situation that I've ever seen. Hishe trying to bait the teams there now. Stick it, but constant pings onto it. LVC though, very, very disciplined here. Just doing his best, but Hishe makes it a 1v1. 16 seconds, tries to hop out, knows where Plexios is at, but Plexios is just too good in those situations. Those are the exact plays you want from him. Gets a quad in that round. Mr. Davis picking up the only other kill. Still match point, though, for Western. One slip up and LVC can be sent home. Again, these were your champions, Cyan divisional champions last semester. So certainly seeing Western step on up. I don't know if they were in champions last semester. Unfortunately, NECC decided it was a good idea to delete all historical information on their platform. So I genuinely can't tell you. I mean, you people that in the chat, I can see 98% of you are probably Western fans. So if you want to put it in there, feel free. I seriously do not remember if they were in champions or challengers or legends. They're in one of those 3, obviously. But my assumption was champions on the other side in champions yellow, but I could be wrong. You're seeing now Western go back to archives. They've been pretty successful here on defense. I think they've won a fair amount of their rounds here as well. I mean, you're seeing the Senate, though, and Emporium both 0-3 in the restart. Reliable, 2, 1-3. Not great plays from them at the moment. Seeing Big P wait for the run out, but of course, LVC going to be spawning on the opposite end of the map, so Big P will have to retreat and make his way back towards the team. On the Thorn, one of the big trap operators of this game. It's actually a hop out. I apologize for missing that. I was going to try and go out to a third-person perspective. I thought they were inside, but Beamer just dives, ends up falling there. Is a quickly traded out the kill, though. The Senate will fall, and that will be the ace off your map. But again, LVC are still stabilized here. 4v4. Trying to get any intel they can. That was the case that got taken out, though. Not sure where the Senate died. I didn't even get a chance to switch over to anyone. What I wanted to see was this. Again, I apologize for missing that kill. This is what I wanted to see. See where the players of Western were at compared to LVC. Although someone I want to check in with now is Reliable. May have a couple players ahead of him. Gets some intel. Decides not to shoot. The trigger discipline is there, but I want to check in on Big P. I'm not sure what information Big P is really working with here. But now we'll be up these stairs. We'll see if LVC pick that one up. As Reliable will take down R6 tracker. Big P actually ends up cutting through metal. I wasn't sure if east or metal would be the place of attack, but do need to be careful. Ren has fallen off site. So now it's just going to be down to Hishe on the site directly, but you have Big P close to support as Big P is spotted out. So you won't be running off scot-free, and that'll be a triple for Reliable. As I was saying, he wasn't having the greatest of games right now. He's finally turning on up, and that's a player you need to turn up if you're Lebanon Valley. He is a player that, wow, the game knowledge can be lacking at times. His shot is relatively unmatched a majority of the time, but he's not been having the greatest of games today. Ren playing a very smart position, just 25 on the clock, so one death on a player here that is planting the diffuser could be detrimental. We'll see if they recognize this, and Mr. Davis looks down, obviously seeing those verts. Do need to be careful. I think got an audio cue there. We'll take down one, but that will be it. So we will have OT. Lebanon Valley making the comeback. Now they're going to have to do it again, but they will be starting out defensively here for the overtime round. You either have a win by 2, which would be 8-6 for the winning team, or you have an 8-7 round 15. Of course, LVC, again, as I said, they'll start out on defense. The team that picks the map gets to pick the side to start on overtime, or in overtime, which was Western that picked this map. So they get to go here on to Border in the attacking side first. LVC will be taking the archives push, or will be taking the archive site to see what they're able to get done here. I'm intrigued about what Lebanon Valley are able to pull out of the bag here. They desperately need this map 3, and last week we saw a map 3 out from Western. They ended up taking down Ohio State. I forget what the map was. I think it may have been Skyscraper. Again, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was Skyscraper there. That or it was Border, I think. One of those two. But from down 2-4 to now 6-6. Most teams are 4-2 half on their defensive side. Or sorry, attack 4-2 on their attacking sides, not 4-2 on the defending sides. I apologize.
Magnet ready.
Just by looking at that, you may want to favor the attackers, the Western Mustangs here. Of course, anything can happen when it hits OT. We could get 2 defensive round wins. You never know.
Swapping.
And then get that 8-7, and the attacking team just magically pulls it back out. You never know. We're here in round number 13. Regulation wasn't enough as the Senate gets tagged on up. It's going to be Big P. And who else but Big P? You're always seeing him sprinting forward. Red pings constantly, and that will be back shots into the back of the Senate. So already, again, first blood for Western. First blood a lot today. He's been getting isolated very heavily. And Big P just finding another first blood. He has been a reaper in those first bloods today. I wish I had a way to pull that stat to see how many it has been. But the Emporium whiffing some shots, but it doesn't really matter. Beamer just not looking at him whatsoever. I'm not sure if he was trying to take out, I think that was Mr. Davis above him. And I think it was. Players moved up to Armory for Western. Also trying to watch the pinch. Emporium will find his second on the round. Our 6 tracker will fall. Every kill going the way of Lebanon Valley. Here's Hishay will now be the last player left alive for Western. Sorry if you heard me slam the desk. I sometimes have to mentally reset myself by punching a desk. 1v3. And like I said, dude, OT can get super goofy, but look at that. Free kill for Hishay. At least makes it a 1v2, but look at how far away that diffuser is. I mean, that's just all the way on the top of Mount Everest, or if you want to consider there the pits of hell, considering it's below him. 35 seconds left, and there's not a lot to work with here for Hishay. Plexus and Emporium, too, the exact players you'd love to have in this situation, but they are a bit spread apart. This could definitely be winnable. As Hishay gets the sights, takes down Plexios. Now a 1v3 opportunity for Western. Diffuser now has to go down low. Does Hishe hear Emporium sprinting around? The diffuser does go down, and Hishe 1v3. Unbelievable from Hishe. Takes down Emporium. That should never, ever happen. I cannot believe what I've just watched. And Western now 1 round away again for about the fifth time, I think, tonight from sending Lebanon Valley out of playoffs. Six, 7, round 14. Western will be on the defense. All the way back to the archives. We have Ren pulling out the dock here. Typically, you only see Donk on that bottom site, so intrigued to see what the difference is here. Outside of that, it's looking like this is going to be the exact same in terms of operator composition. Site setup, I believe it's the same from what I can tell here. Again, the difference being Ren. Typically, you'd see a Maestro, but Ren pulling out the dock, and I've seen him stop like 2 or 3 times here. I'm assuming that means nothing, but I always see a player just stop moving and get a bit confused. 10-2 from the restart for Hishe, by the way. You can see Plexios already flying through with the drones. See the Goyos getting taken out by Plexios. And Plexios just waiting to take this last one out. I'm assuming waiting for the other one to stop going and then taking this one out. I'm surprised no one's doing this if you are Western. They're being a bit more disciplined than I've seen in a while. As R6 Tracker going to take out the drone. And now Lebanon Valley are starting to make their way through. The Senate, though, has to be careful. He gets put so weak. Emporium also put a bit weak here, too. But it will be first blood for Reliable, and that's the man you want getting those types of kills. The shots not quite connecting for the rest of it. Hishe will get the kill onto the Senate with the impact. Mr. Davis now picking it up. Plexios also filling in the gaps. Opponent detected outside. That'll be Big P flanking around to get Mr. Davis. And now everything falling apart. Reliable. Still alive here, though. Has the smokes ahead of him. Emporium hops in. Trying to do his best to play for his life, but can't connect down to Reliable in a 1v3. Need a miracle play. Now knows that there's someone outside. At least has an angle to stay away from it. .50 on the clock. That's a half pixel of a head that you're seeing there. But this is just a high-low classic Val strat. As somehow no bullets from any player on the map is connecting. And I swear I've seen a couple connect, but Reliable does get the first, and now they're backing off. Legion Mine does connect. Reliable will have to pull this out of his foot in a second, and it will not end up being a headshot. Again, that's another shot I thought was going to hit the head, but does not. So Western moving on to your finals there as LVC going to drop there a 2-0 series to Western. And again, Western, that high aggression is exactly what gives them the victory there. Can't really say it any other way. 11-3 from the restart for Hishe. Big series from them. But I also want to give credit to Beamer there. Also had a really good series. I didn't actually look at the scoreboard because solely because their name was at the bottom. I didn't really just take a look for a second, but I know before the restart they had a really good map, and even in map number 1 had a very, very strong map. So now Lebanon Valley the Rainbow Six team at least, will have to wait until I think 2 weeks from now. They still have the semifinal for the NECC Varsity Plus East 1 division ahead of them, which that will be played on April 11th. So yeah, you got a couple weeks for that. And also, I believe Nationals will be started before or after that date. So they do have Nationals to look forward to as well. Again, confirmed their spot last semester. So this really was just to win another title, divisional title. Wasn't necessarily they needed to win it for Nationals. So that is definitely what they're going to be preparing for next. Also, their opponent for NECC is not determined, obviously, because they're in the semifinal. They get that first round bye. So I don't even think the bracket's out yet for that, but we will see who they play in a few weeks. As actually it is, they will play the winner of Ferris State and Lackawanna College. So we will have to see who wins that series, which that one will be played on April 4th. So I believe that's early next week that series is played. It is. So next Thursday, we will see that series go down in the first round, and the winner of that, Ferris State and Lackawanna, will take on Lebanon Valley in this NECC Varsity Plus East 1 semifinals. Outside of that, you'll have Lebanon Valley Rocket League taking on Nova Southeastern in the NECC quarterfinal for their NECC division on April 1st when we come back. Actually, I believe we have off that day, but the players will have to at least be playing for that unless if something happens to Nova, which that's a whole other situation that I will cover if it does become relevant for us on the stream. But outside of that, you'll also have NECC play in the playoffs for Rocket League. They will take on Carthage Red in the semifinals of their division there. I believe it's Champions Midwest Division. So on April 5th, they will take on Carthage Red. Again, there are no more matches this week. Easter, of course, is this weekend. So after Thursday, there are no matches being played. Or for if you are here at Lebanon Valley, we have no games that are played on Wednesdays. So no Wednesday matches, no Thursday matches, no Friday matches. That is going to do it for us tonight, though. Thank you all for tuning in. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at LVC_esports on both of those platforms. Subscribe to us on youtube.com/@LVC esports over there. Follow us here on Twitch. Turn notifications on to see when we go live. But again, that will do it for us for the week. We'll catch you guys back here on Monday with LVC Rocket League taking on Nova Southeastern for the NECC quarterfinals. We will see you guys on the other side.